of an issue.
Ay, dito sa Nok!
Is
Ang balwarte ng mga Pinoy!
didn't really have any kind of effect compared to the
Eto na!
just because of how well these teams tend to spread themselves out across the map.
Si Martin talaga pinakamarami na papatay pa rin. Pangalawa si Concept.
Anticipate to see who's going to utilize the eastern side of the map or how far away it is. Navi and Geek Fam on that northwest island, that's to be expected. Fnatic, Zombies, and Hating. Blacklist International is going to be spot on, and are we going to have two teams in Paradise?
Eto na!
I think so. I mean, last time it worked out great.
Paradise,
Right?
dalawang
Because
team
they
yan.
literally suffered no casualties.
Baldus
There was
saka A1.
on the west. On the east, it was Valdas, and they just had A1 rotate towards the compound where currently you can see the likes of the Xavier currently next to the bridge over on the northwestern side.
Oh, nag-adjust ang A1.
If they take it the same way, I'm okay with it. As long as it does not result in an outgoing war, then I'm okay. But it seems like A1 are actually going to be going past that position of Paradise.
I like that.
And they're going to be going for just a few of the compounds that are localized on the east, which there are a
Oh,
lot.
nag-adjust ang A1, tol.
That's great from A1. They're not taking the risk.
Magmamong
And
na yun
especially
yata.
how you see Valdas currently playing in Paradise, they have a wider spread. So if A1 dropped there, that would have resulted in a win.
Oh, binigay na sa Baldus talaga yung ano,
Who
Paradise.
would have won? I don't know.
Reject Scarlet's split drop between the
Binigay.
the compound of both Painan, I think, is good. But remember yesterday's Sanhok game, Blacklist International were quick to kind of head in that direction. I believe they caught one of the reject players off, so it does come with a risk, and you got to be aware of that.
Kompleto lahat, 6-4 players, 16 teams.
And in
Walang
yesterday's
atras.
game, they did get an early kill onto, I believe it was Abilene.
Di pasok UTG
So that
Basmaro.
might
Oh,
be the
hindi.
same
Hindi nakapasok
again,
AJ.
but God,
I like
this
that.
is a little bit more prepared for that one. And oh my God, that pro down spray on the blade with
bilis na.
only a 2x.
Ang bilis ng knockdown
That's
nun, ah.
pretty good.
Di baka wala pang armor yan pa si Blade, no? Parang mga dalawang bala lang tumama, patay ka bagsak agad.
Make the most out of it instantly. Though, really, that knock should not result in a kill. Revers should quickly and surely be able to get Blade back up on his 2 feet.
Yeah.
That was going to be
Ito
the name
pinakamahirap
of the
dito
game
pag wala ka sa
for them
zone.
at least. I'm happy to see that we're not seeing any hot
Ang
drops.
hirap promotate dyan, limited lang yung sasakyan dito sa Nok.
As I mentioned, right? There's no Na'Vi versus Geek Fam in Alpha.
Ano
There's
yung
no
nabasa?
going to be a
Pinakita
fight
mo?
inside of Paradise, and there's not going to be any other skirmishes around the entirety of the map. Which
Focus,
I'd like
guys,
to see,
focus,
because yesterday
focus.
we had one versus DS Gaming and Dig Xavier actually towards the Tatmok area, more towards the west side of Tatmok. So that's been avoided. So
Tatmok.
teams are really being respectful of each another, knowing that if you take a fight on Sanok and you lose 1 or 2 players early on, that's what happened to Na'Vi yesterday, right? And it hurt them so much. They want to avoid that as much as possible. And if you do that, you're by default increasing your win percent by a very significant margin.
The phase 1 circle, by the way, is spot on. Like,
The same
perfect. Perfect phase 1 circle for these teams. Barely touches the southwest island, only tickles the northwest island. Really gives so much room on this main map for teams to
Let's go, Blacklist!
try and control it and see what happens as phase 2 is going to be showing up pretty soon. DRS have to kind of ban area / Camp Bravo region under control for the time being. BTR still yet to move away from Painan. I am worried for Navi and Fnatic Zombies.
Okay.
Geek Fam, they have an easier rotation because they can utilize the trifecta region, right? Because they did automatically drop a little bit further south of that northwest island. But for Fnatic Zombies and Navi, they're more likely going to have to go through either each other or the Xavier.
Hindi sira na yung mga gulong, oh.
The only way I could see it working out.
Ang bilis ng rotation ng Blacklist, oh.
This is
Palis na
wild.
kaagad.
Depending on the time.
Kukunin na kaagad nila yung taas dun, eh.
Navi, it could work out.
That's exactly my point I was going to make, but not
Kukunin
for
na
Na'Vi. I
kaagad
was
nila.
going to make that point for NASA, or I was even going to
Talas
make that
talaga
point
tanker niyan, eh.
Oh, yes.
Talas
NASA
talaga
currently on the
tanker
southern
niyan.
side, you got literally, even though
Lagi
he said
nasa
Silver
una
was
yan, eh.
perfect, he's got
Hindi
very
na
minimal
tag-establish
amount
ng
of water
position ng
currently in play.
Blacklist.
You got the entirety of the coastline, luckily enough, because of this phase 1, that's in play. The northern coastline and also the eastern coastline is in place.
Pag naka-chicken Blacklist,
pick up a boat from docks,
isang
or even
viewer natin na magkaka-RP.
southern side of the map, and Myth they could pick it up too towards Same
Game 2 to, guys, game 2.
towards Nakam, and go for a wide wraparound or towards the north or towards the east. And mainly, I would say the east is best because not that many teams drop there. Typically, is not that crowded, so it would be a very easy strat to pull off, I would say.
But do you think they need to? That's the thing.
They don't need to.
They
No.
need to.
No, I would not say they need to. Though to caveat that, one thing that I saw yesterday, there was I did not enjoy that playstyle coming out from Myth is they delay that rotation way too much, and then they get gate kept. If that's the playstyle you want to go for, a late rotation is better than a late rotation by foot in Sanhok.
That's a good point. Let's see what happens. Zeus are gonna
Mas maaari
set
mag-TikTok ka na.
themselves up
Bakit?
in a
Wala pa
very
nga eh.
similar position as they did yesterday as well.
Pero
Just
talaga
down
trabaho
the
ni Alas.
south
Oh,
of
mahirap
Paradise
ano ni Alas dyan.
So,
Si Alas kaya madalas una
standard
namamatay
stuff.
lagi si
Yara may be
Alas.
going a little bit further ahead of boot camp than I maybe thought. At least one of their players, anyway, for the time
Captain
being,
ka na, scout ka pa.
scouting across the road. But the other three players do have
Yan ang mahirap niya pag
Camp
namatay ang
Hill
captain.
under control. The Xavier have a beautiful spread gatekeeping Fnatic zombies, but I wonder if they have the strength.
Sisimula ko na yung Baldos. Ito na! Si Martin ako una na naman!
Up against Zeus.
Gustong-gusto na talaga matampol nitong isang to eh, no?
I believe it was Abilene you said, and I believe
Sus, sige. Palagyan. Chicken dinner nung ano.
right now where Abilene is right now, actually. So, seem like they know that teams typically try to contest this location, even though last time it was not. Valdes actually contested it, and that's going to be it. Great knock coming out from Divine. Straight onto Zjol. Pops the shot instantly, but yeah, Zeus really, I would say, if I'm okay with this position being played, but you do not want to stay there for that long because Valdes typically rotate early down south, and then they just clash, and Zeus, because they're downhill most of the time, it makes it hard for them to pick it up.
Biyayaan lang tayo ng maganda-gandang circle sa pang-apat na zone.
You know, today as we did yesterday.
Biyayaan lang tayo kaya yan.
Phase on circle, but completely different results because Valdes may be learning from yesterday's game where they opted to stay more on the western side of Paradise Resort, and they've shifted more heavily down south because they want to create a little bit more control on that area, create a bit of suppression for the likes of Zeus and Reject and possibly Yala.
Mas mara pa siya kay
in themselves have joined up as a
Michelle,
full squad a lot earlier and rotated it deeper into the center area of the circle earlier on.
Pang ilang Bren? Ay, wala pang Bren dito, Hats.
Strokes are shining
Si
through
Hats, si
on this
Carl.
beautiful paintbrush that is Sanhok.
I got a question for you right now. We've got our Facebook circle that will be popping in just a few minutes time, just about a minute time actually. We got on the northwestern island.
Babatiin natin. Babatiin natin yung mga yan.
We're talking about bridge camp. You've got Deek Xavier, who's got a huge four-man spread over on the northern island bridge. And then onto the trifecta, you got Geek Fam. So for you, you're looking at Fnatic Zombies, Na'Vi. How would you make that work out? Because this is, I'm expecting one team minimum to go out unless a rotation comes out through Hatin by Na'Vi.
Here's the thing. Do they really need to rotate into the mainland on phase one? That's the thing. It's something we haven't really thought about. They don't. Let's be honest. It's only phase one. They could even stay in the blue. We've seen plenty of teams do it in the past. But just wait out because phase two could shift heavily to the east, which in turn the Xavier automatically going to move. The traffic's going to automatically move to the west, and therefore it's going to be a lot easier for them to enter into the mainland. So I say,
Paparamdam na.
so you know that the Xavier land around that area, as do Fnatic.
Si Martin, bagsak na. Tuluyan niyo na yan. Tuluyan niyo yung Martin yan.
Full squad. Play a little bit more for that late game.
Huwag niyo nang kaya makaparil.
So the MVP of day one.
Si Alas,
early, got picked up. That's going to be Martin.
Gusto niyo, ha?
Taking a few shots
Gusto
for
niyo, ha?
QBU.
Gusto niyo, ha?
Let's go for the heal off just in time, but very far away, far spread away from the rest of Reject, which Reject, they like to go for these big boy spreads from time to time. I think that's fine, but I would typically prefer 2-2 split, especially on Sanhok, because if you do have a player get knocked, so there's some really big damage, you can share the resources also if needed. So I think that would be a better course of action, which they are doing to some extent, but I'd like to see them a little bit more on top of each other. It makes it very hard to fight back
RC
in
Blacklist.
a situation where you're taking a fight, which is currently unfolding with the likes of Blacklist International.
I love DRS, by the way. They're not taking for granted that the eastern coastline is completely free. They have Mafia Ninja essentially on the very kind of coastline edge of that water, expecting a potential rotation from one of these teams. And I really like that because they have an individual spread. They already have kind of a more centralized location covered with Nima in that area as well. So really good awareness from DRS to protect as many angles around them as possible.
Alas okay
I
na
love
ako na
the
yung
position
position ng
of DS
Blacklist.
Gaming currently too. There's a really good oversight.
Yung
to
mid
what's
to,
happening
ganun pa
throughout
rin yung
the
strat
board,
ng mid, no?
especially with A1 currently
Nagpapaluto,
standing right down south.
tatlong barangay, nilatan ng
Navi
mga
actually gonna be
mid.
swimming on over, and this
Kahapon, ganyan din sa Sanlok yan.
with it. This is great for DRS.
Sa amin,
Right there.
Bantay,
Relatively
sa Cam
basic
Charlie,
break.
oh.
Keeping Mafia Ninja to check out the coastline, make sure there's
Sobrang
not going to
daming
be
percent yan, tig
a
20% na naman bawat sa player niyan. Tiga mo, ganun yung kahapon eh. Eto na,
They're going to be moving
bootcamp,
on in that
DTR.
position, hopefully. So I'm not expecting too many big changes in the
Rotation ng
second
BTR,
phase,
ano,
but
pahinan
teams
to
are just
bootcamp
going to be a
na.
little bit more
Ganun lagi yan.
concentrated, so that rupture point will be happening, I believe, towards the likes of phase 3 or phase 4.
Now, one thing I like is that Geek Fam did go for a little bit of a swim across the river. I was expecting the trifecta rotation, but they didn't send a full squad over on phase 1, and to me that doesn't make sense because
Pag-pray nyo mga chicken dinner Blacklist, mamimigay ako ng RP sa viewer
why not
talaga.
make use of that as a full squad? Now they have one player being caught up by BTR.
Paano
They've
makasali,
Yellow
Lodi?
top
Ah,
of Big
Tyron,
Camp Hill,
dapat
which they
magpaparegister ka,
would've heard
Tyron.
the shots
Tawag
fired
kay Renze.
That puts Geek Fam in even
Wala yan, Jairi Lem.
trickier of a position
Ay, yung
because
isa pang yung
now
pagkalat.
they're forced to go by the coastline of that mainland where the Xavier could take shots on them, Yala could take shots on them, Fnatic Zombies could take shots on them, and BTR can, right? So instead of what would have been possibly one angle of pressure,
Mataas din yung
there's
placing
now
ng Geek, di ba,
4
overall?
angles of pressure, all because of a late rotation as a full team.
It's very unfortunate for Geek Fam because they should know, because we know that one Imperium too, is that this is a
Hindi
very
ko pwede
typical
si
rotation for
Liquid sa
BTR.
BTR,
Typically, this
tol.
is a position in which they drop, so they got a lot of
Mas
experience
ano pa rin, mas
fighting
sync sa
in
kanila
camp
si
itself.
Microboy, no?
And their rotation they typically do, if it is a
Ginawa kasing
northeast
Paul Guys si
shift
Microboy.
on phase 1, phase
Nakakali
2, which
sila
is the
sa
case
ano
right now, is they go from Painan straight onto the hilltop down south of boot camp, and then they go into boot camp itself if they scout and see no one's there, or at least not enough.
Ganda
players
sana
to
dun
stop
sa
them
hideout ko.
doing so,
Oh, tawa
which
nga
is
po
they
na
do
siya.
right now, and
Yeah.
Geek Fam
Tangin
take
ng paluwarte niya si Karto. Bakit hindi pinasok si Hatsikar sa Sanok?
So, I think that's just
Oh, tiyan maraming madadali si Hatsikar dito, tol. Mga ngamote sila kay Hatsikar dito, tol. Tawa nga, ba't di ka pinasok, tol? Baluarte niya si Karto sa Sanok eh.
Allow Navi to go through them like that.
Mga ngamote sila kay Hatsikar dito, tol.
No.
Ramdam ko na yung mangyayari
It's
dito.
more of a metaphorical question, or at least
Paano nila alam kung sino-sino bumabara sa kanila? Baka kung sino-sinong mga bato na mapagbibintangan.
Anyway, answer the question though.
They swim. No, because they did that exactly yesterday. They did the exact same rotation versus the exact same
Baka
team,
Max yan.
and they got completely gate-kept. Also because they were down to
Wala si Max eh.
picked up in-camp
Lahat
alphas
lagi
by the
din
likes
si
of
Max,
Geek Fam. So this time, they're like, okay, we're going to avoid the bridge because you know they're going to try and hold on to the bridge itself. So we're going to wrap around and we're going to backstab. We're going to go for a little bit of a nothing personal kid, go straight behind the likes of D. Xavier and find himself one knock. Instantly going to try and convert that into a kill onto Lamborghini. And now D. Xavier are alerted of this position currently happening. So now, because D. Xavier might put the focus onto Na'Vi, that even might create a better opportunity for Fnatic Zombies to actually cross the river in the first
Like
place.
it sa mga wagas, like sir, maraming salamat. Game to.
Xavier was obviously spread out to try and catch out the team going from
Di pa umaalis sa nila.
Fnatic Zombies or
Sa kanilang
Navi.
paradise.
Like, I don't know if it was bad vision or just, you know, taking a nap, but that
Ay,
should have
mga
happened.
gig, lumalangoy.
Navi catching them out off guard and grabbing a kill for their troubles. Xavier now back up as a 3-man team joining together. We are about to see Phase 3 show up on our screens.
Pag
and
nag-share
it's
tayo ng stream,
another
lagyan natin ng caption,
centralized
hashtag
shift.
Blacklist
This is
on the
really
circle.
setting up for an
Shout kay
absolutely
Maldita
explosive
Suplada pag andyan si
late
Kuya
game,
Hats.
because all you're doing is
Lahat
you're
ng
just
part ng Sanlok may gas gun.
centralizing everyone into a
Bakit
bubble.
gas gun?
It's not massive
Gas gun?
hardships. It's not massive, you know, 4 or 5 teams in one side of the
Ano,
map.
bakit
But you
di
have
nila
a really
pinasok si Hatsikar dito, tol?
consistent,
Pucha.
you know, cluster of teams
Mga
around
ngamote
this
ang mga yan kay
Valus
Hats.
especially are stuck in a
Baka
very
hindi nila
interesting
makita kung
position.
sino
All we go
bumabaril
down
sa
south
kanila.
of Paradise Resort are trying to hold there, and it was shown yesterday by Zeus trying to hold that location.
maganda
but
content
if he
yes,
pushes
maganda mga
you
content
and you're
yes.
on a dip, it's going to be really hard to fight out of. Or do they
Ako, tamad akong gumawa ng
backtrack and
content,
go
tamad
back
akong
to Paradise
mag-edit
Resort?
eh.
There are many options available for Valus, but they need to try and take that decision now. The delay, more you can be caught out with your pants down. So I'm just hoping the Valus can make that happen just in time.
16 teams pa rin guys, wala pang na-out.
Closer to each another. We said it, the rupture point is slowly but surely approaching. That's going to be DRS right
Yes,
on top of
1K.
the
Ayun nga,
position of
nag-1K
NASA
nga to. Ay,
currently.
salamat sa
Not
1,000 viewers.
just yet, but NASA around that big boulder, they should be able to find
Salamat
some
po.
really good
Enjoy lang po sa
peak angles to
panonood.
find an opportunity versus DRS.
I8 are also kind of close by in the mix Although Crypto's rocking around in the vehicle for the laugh.
Yung NASR kahapon, no? 1 point per game. Hanggang game 4, 1 point per game.
Will make a bit of noise, but look at Nabo on that sideline, right?
Parang makabounce back yung team na yan.
Really exposed DRS's position. He's getting a lot of information. You can see it on your screens right now using a third-person perspective. One knock with well-coordinated attack is all it will take to shut down the Nepal representatives.
Moment like this where I want to add rock climbing. You don't see bouldering in Pyramid when we were in a...
Pinatukan na ng iwan,
I tempted to.
Yeah. Add some bouldering, that'll be fun. Like that, just go on top of the rock, create a man advantage out of that. Well, really create a high ground advantage out of nowhere, and you'll be good to go. Though, unfortunately, one team that's not good to go is going to be DRS as they are spotted out.
Ay, sa mga di mo follow na rin tayo. Comment kayo exclamation, notify. Maraming salamat.
That's currently, they've got 3 players. There's one.
Game 2 to hanggang game 5 tong day 2.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's right there and he's waiting for the time to strike.
Kung ikaw mag-strike, try mo lang.
Why
English din dapat.
Naku po.
Sila magkadya sa akin. O yung pamputo ko, no? Kung okay na po, tangina, binaril ko na yan, hindi ako ano eh.
Now's the time. This is
phase 3 though. It
doesn't get any easier from here. You think it's gonna get any easier? Yeah, you might be able to take advantage of a third party.
Grabe yung patience ng mga player.
But you gotta strike
wala tayo so, tayo babaril.
The iron was so hot in that moment for Nabo.
The thing is, you only spotted out Nemad right there. He's trying to spot out where all the players currently stand to give the information, relay it over to NASA because information is key and is so important in these kind of skirmishes.
Mas rin bibig ko, Lods. Salamat, Roles 200. Ito na. Ronel, thank you, 200.
He's just going to be cruising up. Unfortunately, the surprise factor has been lost.
Pareha tayo. Ako din eh. Bawal ako sa ganyan.
But he truly this time, I would say, Imperium took way too long. I think there was clearly a chance for him to make it
happen. Nakabang ako yung bawi ng Blacklist sa Baldos eh. Oh, eliminated na siya.
One more bullet, that is all you need, and he takes an 8 to the face, but will not get knocked out by it whatsoever. But Namo is just pinning them down. They are between a rock and a hard place. There is no escape for DRS. You have to get out through at
wala Blacklist sa zone, pang-apat na circle na. Pero hindi naman crowded sa papasukan nila. Wala zone pero hindi crowded, kaya isang team lang nakabara. Oras na para engage.
Trying to get that backstab position.
Too slow, but it might work out. Lovely grenade is indeed come through. No man on Tamboro.
Oras na para sa Nasar.
But at the end of the day, I think this Nasar's fight to lose. They have firm control over it. DRS are down to just one player now.
It was an interesting one. Took a little. There were definitely some things that I think were worth mentioning that NASA could have done a little bit cleaner. I think, but you know what? There is no. Not going to argue. It worked out. That's great. Though DRS
Blacklist makakalaban yung mid.
Escape and run away from that one. That would be great because you are nowhere near the circle currently, and you've got to go a little bit further downhill, potentially in the open and loving arms of A1 Esports. So that is not something they're going to be looking forward to.
Pag ako naging caster dito, magkakaroon na World War.
We got
sa comment section.
We're just going to be moving out. Roll out into the circle itself, which is,
World War bigla. Mag-away-away ang mga magkakaibang bansa dito.
They didn't even confirm the kill out of Mr. Bora, but I think the blue zone is ended up getting the better of him. By the way, Pakistan fans,
ayan na, oras na. It's time!
In the kill feed,
ubusin yung mga miss na yan.
Zeus to the ground, so do not...
bumabaril yung miss, so ini-engage sila yung Nasar. Pwedeng mabackstab ng Blacklist to. Pwede mo backstab ng Blacklist to.
They're going to be the kings of the south currently, looking to deny a few teams to rotate, potentially the likes of Fnatic Zombies or even Myth or Blacklist International if they try and go for a wide rotate to avoid the fight currently happening between Myth and NASA itself. There's definitely an opportunity for them to capitalize on more kills as time goes on. Things are slowing down a little bit though.
Ayan na si Alas! Bagsak si Rio! Kay Alas! Eto na push! Nasa likod si Broly. Pagsasabay na yan! Nakikita ko na eh! Pagsasabay ng Blacklist yung bit yan sa Nasar na yan! Pagsasabay niyan! Ay, close na. Remote sila. Pupunta sa A1.
Personally, I would not recommend that. I think them trying to
defend. Clear! Ayusin mo!
Blacklist, they're going to be able to find themselves a few opportunities.
Ay, gogo. Magsakbay sa dalawa. Ay, naubos yung Nasar. Okay sa Blacklist. Kita na yung isa pang may cover. Tamaan yung gigil na si Ianso. Gigil na si Ianso. Magkano yan eh? Magkano yan eh? Bagsak si Alas. Bagsak si Claire. Kailangan mag-revive! Ians! Tapalim mo! Yan! Isa na lang. Flex na lang at napatay ng ibang team. Okay, revive. Revive. Pucha, revive. Si Alas, kaya pa ba si Alas?
Tyra, and then,
Kung mamamatay
of
yata si Alas,
stick together as a
Ano ma-
two-man team.
si Clara
IA
namatay.
have 4 kills on board. We
Pati
have
si Alas.
12 teams left, 39 players alive.
Okay,
The
okay na yan.
centered up on
4
phase
points, 4
5,
points,
with
4 points.
Valdez holding on to the north and Reject holding on to the south.
4 points, kapalit
Okay, so
ng dalawang
Na'Vi
player.
left entirely Paradise Resort, so they're going to be pushing their way towards the Xavier's.
Oh!
So a little bit of a
Gusto na lang naiwan sa blacklist ba?
Na'Vi, like they're going to try and get vengeance.
Nadali ba sila
for what
ng iwan?
happened yesterday on that Sandhog game. The Reject are going to be one of the first few teams we saw earlier. We saw on last game action on the Wrangle. They maybe struggle a little bit to hold on to central.
player na iwan sa
position.
blacklist?
Allowed
Dalawa,
to
di
get
ba?
a little bit too close. Hopefully this time they will not be allowing
Parang
that
isa
to
na lang
happen in the
naiwan.
first place. BTR still going to be sending Ryzen forward, the last player from the Indonesian team. Hasn't got spotted out just yet and might be able to get a little bit of a sneaky angle onto Fnatic Zombies.
Ako kinakabahan sa'yo, Mara, sabi ni Mary Ann. Eh, saan kay Mary Ann? Magkakabahan, eh? Ano na tayo?
Keep an eye on A1. They're in an absolutely fantastic position
big,
in
yeah.
the northeastern side
Hindi
of the
pa pwedeng
circle. It's a
mawala
big
blacklist.
spot to
12
hold on
teams
to.
pa
If
to,
they
eh.
can take out and get the advantage onto
Si Ions
Valdez,
na iwan
it
nga,
could
si
be their
Ions nga, Lods,
game
nangyari.
to win. Now looking at Reject, I
Nabaril
said they
yata
lead
ng
on the
A1 yung
south. They
nagre-revive,
did
ah.
take down the last player of Fnatic Zombies, but
Ions,
they've also
sa kanya pa yung
allowed
DRS,
IA to encroach on their space unnoticed. Up the hill, IA go. Will they be able to get the advantage onto Reject?
Yeah, there's only one team that's going to come out of this one. You have to take the fight.
Baldos, di pa umaalis ng Paradise. Tangina, ito na swerte ng Baldos. Bumalik na naman, eliminated na blacklist. Nadali ni Mafia Ninja si Ion sa likod. Ilang points tayo? 4 points.
Reduce the aggressiveness from Reject. But Reject, they do not want to slow this one down. They want to keep the pressure up and they want to pop those shots as quickly and as often as they possibly can. A few nades though on IA behind those rocks will be big. Are making it really hard for Reject to get that information. The Molly though is great to slow down.
Ay, okay, di ba? Luto, dalawa, luto! Namulot yung dalawa.
Knockdown, I believe, Imperium. As Reject
Sarah na lang, kailangan mag-revive.
shattered to pieces. Sarah is going to be up and ready to go, but IA, now you know you got 3 knocks. You should go for the push onto
Uy,
Reject.
limited Bigatron.
Oh, go for the revives! You're killing me, IA! Take the opportunity to strike. The blue zone's closing in on phase 6. You're doing nothing other than wasting time to get kills in this game. Reject realized that. He's moving away.
Pati commentator nagagalit na sa isa eh.
Arms of IA.
Kaya mo yan, kanya-kanya discard ka yan.
Double coming his way. Still one player.
Napipressure na rin yung mga teams dyan eh.
On the
Siyempre,
sliver of HP,
makakabad din
will
yan
go
eh.
for the medkit, so
Baldos,
he's back
buhay
at
ko.
100%. But he
Pinapakita
still wants to
yung crush
win
ng
the
Baldos
shot.
ngayon.
IA, he's got the smoke, they're still going to make it so hard. He's spotted from a distance, and that's going to be IA once again getting the kill. Who was that? I believe it was Crypto. This guy's on
Ay,
fire.
Baldos, naka-DS oh.
Like a coin
Ilan na lang?
rising up in
Naku po,
value
dalawa po.
in this Sandhawk game. Valdez
Takna, buhay
now
pa yung
trying
Martin,
to
ah.
hold on to the northern edge of Paradise
Gio and
Resort.
Concept
DS
knockdown.
has only
Pero mukhang
one
hindi na
player
marirevive yung
left
dalawa.
up at A1. They are waiting for the time to strike like a snake in the grass. Venom
Nakakapuntos ang Baldos.
into the
Tayo,
top
pasok na sa top
16
6.
we are. Navi, they opted to move away. It's low-key worked out, but they only have 1 player left.
Yeah, Mafia Ninja is still in the blue, and I don't know how many first aids he has. If he has a decent amount, that could be a top 3 coming his way.
Good
We see
position ni
these
Martin
like
sa
in the
N6.
Western European here, where it
Ina
does
Martin to,
reward you as a top
matatampal
3.
ko na
Even
talaga
sometimes you see it to reward a top 2. So we'll have to keep in mind and see if
Pagka
the RS get
chinikil ni Martin
eliminated
to,
later on.
tatakot sa
ZZP though trying to heal off
pagkagabot sa
inside Paradise itself. Maybe he was able to loot a little bit after that huge fight that was going up over there.
CCCP oh, healing game.
Valdez able to make it up as a 2-man. They got great oversight, but a lot of teams sneaking up, so very hard to get the information that Valdez desperately needed.
Yeah, that's the end of ZZP. The only player that would have caused any kind of real potential issue to Valdez in that moment, a limited amount of first aids, they had to move away and Valdez pick them off. Now we are left with
Pasok na sa top 5,
5,
pasok na.
14 really in the mix though. Valdez, Navi, I8, and A1. This is going to be very,
Apat na
very
A1.
close.
Kitsune, ex-adder from Cloud9.
Ano ulat natin sa bilog, nakakayamot. Kanun.
Dick's actually going to be going straight for the warehouse. He's right.
Ayun! Punta tuluyan niyo yung Martin na yan! Ayun! Wala na, talo na Baldos dyan, talo na yan. Basta namatay si Martin, wala na. Magtatago na lang yung mga kasama niyan.
So far from the IA team. And we'll see if they can try and push it to the limits and see if they can actually turn this one into a big fat dub. The nades are going to be roaring up onto I8. Revers could still get rezzed up behind that smoke, but
Like it sa mga bago, like it
a little bit slower this time
May
around.
tatlong game pa after nito.
At the end of the day, with Reviews going down at the hands of Sinister,
X.
That puts A1 in the body advantage. 6 can do nothing. The circle has gone towards the A1
teams.
boys. The Bangladesh
Region nadali na.
representatives. DRS go
Yun yung
down.
nakadali kay ano, di ba?
That's a big win.
Nalipuran
That's still
si
huge for
Ians.
DRS from the POW. We'll see if they can
Mafia
try and get
Ninja.
more as the day goes
Pang-apat
on.
pa sila.
Now we're down to top 3. Going to be having Valdus back in the top 3 after that last game. They're going to be happy, trying to live up to what they did yesterday.
Nakatutok na.
The thing is, A1, they should know Martin was just an op. They should know
Surprise!
there's a
Alam
chance
na
the
yung
player's going to
dyan.
be right behind that wall. Jack tries to jump out.
Grabe naman yun.
Not get spotted
Parang
just yet.
nakakita sa smoke yan.
There's her pronon down. Crypto is inside the winning
Ayun,
6.
oh.
Gets caught out.
Pangatlo,
We're left with
pangatlo.
our final 2 teams.
Yeah, that's
Wala
it. That's
na,
it.
A1
Valdus
na yan.
plays and even taking himself the other player of IA
Perfect
out, and
chicken
that's
dinner
gonna
sa
be
A1.
finally we get ourselves
Walang
a win
mamatay.
for A1 Esport. They were so close last game like this one.
Makaka-bounce back A1, bababa placing nito eh. Okay lang yan, okay lang yan.
Joy Bangla.
Wala eh, alat sa zone eh.
Coming in second in
Wala
the
tayong
first
pwedeng
game
ibang
of the
sisihin
day,
kundi yung
now
zone.
winning this game number 2.
Sisihin muna natin yung zone ngayon.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I was
Okay lang yan, nagwa-warm up pa lang tayo.
the trend that's seen in the past. You could argue that they've been underperforming in the respective
Blacklist?
PMPL a couple of months back, right?
A1 chicken dinner.
Now they are here.
Puso sa live guys, puso sa live. Ichichicken na lang Blacklist test game yan.
Showing up on his day 2, but I'm
Kaya ko kasi alas.
so happy to see I8 come up in second place. 9+ kills in that game. Probably one of the least experienced teams in this PMWI, right?
Yeah.
And
Shout out kay
you know,
Kit Kat.
they
Hello
struggled
po.
yesterday, and that made sense based on their lack of experience. But I had a few supporters message me, and I
kasi
said
yun.
to them,
Pucha,
to
dalawang
every
game na.
single one of them, look, I believe
Biyala tayo ng isang zone.
learn that they
Mag-isang
will
maganda-ganda
come
lang
back
kahit
up
hindi,
and they will
kahit hindi
show up
center
today,
bus.
and
Kahit
indeed
basta
they
nasa
have
gilid, basta
this
pasok.
second place.
I mean, these are really clearly 2 teams with the most fan support.
Wala, nag-ahabol sila ng zone.
And it goes to show that that's
Sanok pa naman, ang hirap promote dito. Pag nakat yung papasukan mo, talagang ano na eh. Yari na talaga eh. No choice na eh, pag ganun eh.
Wins. So able to do it and make it happen.
Okay lang yan. Shout out sa 1,000 plus na nanonood. Magandang gabi po. Kasi yung kumitil talaga oh. Ilang points sila? 4 ba? 5?
Still happening, and especially the one thing that was so important for
Ayun! Ayun pala nakadali sa kanila.
the crossroad section.
Kasi nakakala ko na magre-revive na sila eh. Mas pakan pa pala sila doon.
That was I8, that was reject. You're not going to get past those teams.
Kung naka-chicken dinner ang Blacklist, mamimigay talaga ako ng RP sa viewer. Isang viewer talaga natin ang makaka-RP talaga. Kada chicken dinner ng Blacklist, may RP ang isang viewer natin. Isang swerteng viewer.
Paradise Resort itself. So it was just great. Not only are you avoiding fights, you're avoiding pressure from teams already set into the circle itself.
That's why I called A1's position. I think it was in phase 5. I said they're in the perfect spot.
That's big, yeah.
Is
I-stream natin to guys hanggang
perfect
ano,
spot? Now,
hanggang
Valdus
finals.
maybe could have earlier on at that point.